Yes, good people, big up to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular morning. I hope you're all doing well, which is the most important thing. We're back again with another build up show. We're looking forward to the Chelsea versus Brighton game at Stamford Bridge. I hope you're ready for that one. If you're in the chat already, let me know if you are looking forward to that one. And then we'll address some news items. And after addressing the news items, we'll go straight into we're going into straight into picking out comments from the managers of press conference and addressing them one by one if need be. But more importantly, I do hope you're all doing well. And hopefully, I don't forget, it's an important announcement from one of us, IBZ, who told me that he went under the knife, which is another language for saying somebody underwent a surgery. But the good thing is that he's sounding optimistic. He did reach out to let me know that that was the case. That's the reason why he's not been on the panel for a while now. But his health comes first, and the good thing, is that he's doing well. But we have to keep praying for him so that he recovers quickly and recovers. Be strong enough to be on the panel because he was sounding as if, he's concerned that he's not been on the panel for a while. And I told him, no, take all the time you need. Your health comes first, more importantly. But that's by the way, I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. As usual, it is an interactive show. I have to first of all say hello to those of us in the chat there, and I appreciate them for finding the time to join in. The first person is my bro and friend Jerry Z. Nice to see you, Jerry. I hope you're doing well. It's that time of the year. Happy December, everyone. Christmas is just about 24 days away, and some work for me every year. I dread setting up the lights and everything. All the negative people can. I'm not gonna be the one to say that, bro. And hello to you too, Constantine Dan. Big up, my bro. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much, brother, for always supporting the channel early in the morning and also, almost bedtime. But I appreciate you. Good morning, coach, and everyone. Jude, we need to talk again. We need to push your channel to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. You know that's possible, but we have to put in the work. But nice to see you. And as the show progresses from 20 minutes off, you have every right. You and Jerizi you all have the right to share the links to your YouTube channel. And when I get to it, I would talk about it. Thank you so much, Constantine. The game is on Sunday. Most likely not be watching because I might be in church. I know God will forgive me. I know certainly God will forgive me. I will watch the game and then I'll pray and ask for forgiveness. We have that grace. Yeah, more importantly. Let's see what I see. Javier, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Yep, IBZ, that's from our bro. A lot of people miss Le or Jude, if that's the one you prefer. Says, get well, IBZ. Our prayers are with you. We love you so much. You know that quite well. But again, I appreciate you more importantly for letting us know your situation. That way we'll keep praying for you because we love you. It's all love. We argue, we debate, but that's what we do. If we all agree, we don't have a show. But more importantly, you know deep down that we love you, brother. And I'll reach out as soon as I can. And let's see what else we have here. Nothing else. We'll start addressing the news items we have lined up. And once the presser starts, we'll start picking up things one by one from the presser. Here's the thing, Constantine. Let me tell a story quickly. The main system, I had to factory reset it, losing a lot of stuff. But most of them, you can say, connected to my coding application. If I just connect it to the system, I'll download a new one. But there are projects actually that I don't have a copy of, so that was really painful when I realized the mistake I made. But that's, by the way, the first item here is with regards to Chelsea's pursuit or interest in Victor Osimhen. This says that Chelsea could be forced to move for Victor Osimhen in January to get ahead of competition. Just as they did with Enzo Fernandez. They're actually, listen, I like Osimhen. And you've heard my argument why I think we shouldn't go for him. But if we're bent on going for him, it simply means that the manager approves of it. And if we get him, he's willing to make adjustment to accommodate him, to help him hit the ground running and have a good start to life at Chelsea Football Club. There are other options like Gressi, who's I think Gressi is top in the Bundesliga table right now. I can't quite remember, but he's an excellent finisher, good on the ball too. But the club, they do what they want. The Chelsea would do what they want to do. I don't work for them. But that's, by the way, I was thinking before that the only reason why I would go for a striker that would cost us a premium in January would be down to how well Christopher Nkunku, Amanda Broya, and Nicholas Jackson, how well they do by the time we get to January. But if we're to believe a phrase, Fletcher, I don't know him. I don't know whether to trust that particular report. Chelsea could be forced to go for Victor Osimhen in January just to get ahead of the competition, as you can see on the report on the screen right there. And we have, what else do we have here? Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 10 likes. Let's try and see if we can get it to 100 likes by the time the show ends today. This show will be about 2 hours plus a show. Yep, IBZ, get well, mate. Much love to you. I hope you're watching just to see how much we love you here. Thank you for saying that. And just like I said, January is the time to sign. That's a tap-in. Okay, you're saying January is the time to sign Victor Osimhen. Okay, I agree. January is the time to sign if we can cost after January. It might be harder. It might be harder, especially if we have a horrible season. I think I agree with you. So if we're to believe the rumors or the reports out there that he's open to joining us, then we might as well try and get it done in January. And the fact remains, because we're dealing with Napoli, De Laurentiis himself, the Napoli president, who said about 2 months ago, that's just him signaling that even if Osimhen has a day or some minutes left on his contract, he's not going to sell him for cheap. And he went ahead to mention the case of Khalid Koulibaly, mentioning specifically the length of his contract at the time, how much he had left on his contract at the time before they sold him, and mentioning also, you know how much we sold him for. That's just him saying, if you can pay well, if you pay up, then let Osimhen go. And you guess he's going to be, he will cost quite a lot. But let's see what happens. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We have just 10 likes, and we're 13 minutes into the show. We should be doing better than that. And quickly, I want to appeal to those of you who are watching, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you. And that's because you watching alone provides a great value to the community. And we're saying thank you. But at the same time, I want to ask you for one tiny bitty favor, which is to take a second and drop a like on the stream for us. And the likes do go a long way. And for those of you that are watching also, if you don't mind, keep tapping on one of the emojis. If you open the emoji panel, you have a heart icon. You have also 100% icon and others to help us garner more likes. Likes do go a long way. So let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. And please, if you're in the chat, because I'm hosting the show, I have 5 screen here, but the other one isn't set up properly yesterday. Now, because I messed up a lot of as I was moving things around to make sure we had a show yesterday, I messed up a lot of stuff, so I have to set them again. So please help me pay attention to when the presser starts so we don't miss anything. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up, people. All right, the next item, let's look at it. Yeah, everything is everywhere. Sorry about that. The intro in the middle of a show, so I'm not sure. I messed things up around, but that's fine. We're good. It's not too bad. And I've read that one, and this one from Constantine Dante also saying, if it is true, owners want a Euro football this season, we will need to go after 3 very good players that can be starters. And we have a show. We had a show scheduled actually where we will have the discussion whether we do need a center back or should we focus like in the attacking area But we'll take. You can say we will talk about that when when we host that particular show. Let's see what they're going to. I'm not too sure what they're going to do. But this one here, this particular report is saying Wesley Fofana carried out with some light jogging on the grass at Cobham on Thursday. Good signs, but he's still not going to be play. I still think actually that he may well not play a part this season, in my opinion, because Pochettino is not known to rush players back. You could argue had it been on the Thomas Tuchel or maybe on the different manager, we by now should have seen uh, what's the name, Christopher Nkunku play some minutes. But he's ultra cautious, and that's actually the language they use in a report that we addressed some time ago, talking about how Chelsea want to be ultra cautious with Benoit Badiashile, Romeo Lavia, and Christopher Nkunku, and it turns out that's exactly what they're doing. But that's by the way, we move on to the next item. I hope he recovers. He's a fine player, and I don't think the club will sell him. And yeah, we actually have numbers in terms of centre backs, so that's why it just doesn't make sense to me that we're looking to sign another centre back. I get it. We'll lose Thiago. Probably this will be Thiago Silva's last season, and Trevor Chalobah most definitely leaving Chelsea in January. But let's see. This saying from Constantine Dante, it looks like my screen is a bit slow. Yeah, Poch, not a risk taker, like he has nothing to lose. We're not missing Nkunku that much. So why be in a hurry to bring him back? Romeo Lavia also, Nkunku maybe. I take that. Rashi is back today. You came visiting yesterday and you ran away as quickly as possible. I think you were just here. You can say you needed emotional support yesterday, so you had to come talk about Andre Onana discussing with us, but you did that for just a few seconds and took off. Yeah, let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We got this for us, Newcastle. Hope so. And it's not been going well for that well for them in Europe. I think they will take out that frustration on you guys. And sing it, Rashi. Go ahead and Rashi, make sure you're subscribed to our other channel. We'll do the prediction show later today where we try to predict the outcome of I think week 15 this time. What number? But let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Just 12 likes, and I believe we can do better than that. All right. Yeah, I think this isn't responding instantaneously. It takes a few seconds for it to respond. So I'm gonna stop using it. Let's see what else we have here. And who is the VAR coach? Let me get that. Yeah. Nice to see you, bro. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well, and hopefully the case is that you've been busy. Busy is always good because bills don't pay themselves. But always nice to see you, brother. You guys, Brighton is not easy. I think we will beat Brighton. And I just want us to face a full strength of Brighton. I don't want the case where we hear that they have 10,000 players out. Usually, I'm not confident when that's the case because we have players. You can argue still struggling with a mentality issue where they go into some games with the mindset that they want this one already. You have to respect every opponent. If you do that, then that's when you win stuff. But if you go into certain games with the mindset that you've already won that game without even putting in the work, you risk a complacency. And you can say that's the biggest issue with this young squad right now. That's where experience comes in. Hopefully, that's why I want us to face a full strength of Brighton and not a depleted Brighton, in my opinion. Let's see. Coach Rashi never stays long. He needs it to do the rounds. Yeah, you could say that, but I really did. I felt bad for him, and I don't. Houston, I want to say it looks like we dodged a bullet because we were also interested in signing Onana, but the price that were quoting for us at the time, we said nah. But the chances are, had he joined Chelsea, his starter life in the Premier League will be different, but we just no way to tell. But Rashi never stays long. I agree with you. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. And that is a Chelsea Jingles. That is a Jude Mesola's YouTube channel. Go check it out. Let's help him get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. He's putting in the work. We're working together and improving everything about the channel. He's a very busy man, but he's a bro, and I respect him so much. So always helping him the best I can. But that's by the way, we move on. Go check it out. Be sure to subscribe. Let's help him grow. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. And this one here talks about Christopher Nkunku involved in Chelsea training at Cobham on Friday. Here's the thing. Let's just leave it at the fact that he was with the but there's no way to tell whether he actually participated in proper training, as in 5-a-side, 10-a-side, or whatever. Competitive training, maybe, for lack of a better language. I don't think so. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Let's see. You're right, coach. I don't think a Poch players respected Newcastle and got spanked. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. There are other factors too that comes to mind. The fact that some of them look like as if they were just passive. It just looked as if some of them looked as if they were still on international duty. They're not back yet. They were just looked like yeah, they weren't there. But yeah, that's what I think that's the case was on that day, in my opinion. Okay, this one here, Connie Chukwemeka. This is yeah, injury update. Still a lot of players out injured. The following injury updates has been provided ahead of Chelsea's Premier League fixture against Brighton and Hove Albion. This says Romeo Lavia progressing with the reconditioning phase of his rehabilitation. I think this will be good for us. We're not in a hurry to bring players back into the fold, which means less risk of players getting injured again. I think it will go along with for us. Christopher Nkunku progressing with the reconditioning phase of his rehabilitation. Milo Gusto undergoing his rehabilitation program. Trevor Chalobah continuing to undergo his rehabilitation program. Ben Chilwell continuing to undergo his rehabilitation program. Connie Chukwemeka continuing to undergo his rehabilitation program. And Wesley Fofana continuing to undergo his rehabilitation program. But in his case, as you can say, is yeah, far before he comes back, I think in 2024. And I don't see him playing that much in this particular season. But that's a small opinion. So let's talk about Benwa Badashile. The rumors that AC Milan's representatives were in London last week or so to, you can say, see if it is possible to sign Benwa Badashile on loan in January. But Chelsea told them no, they're not going to sell him. He's part of the project, and he's an excellent player. For me, he's actually one of the best defenders, center backs we have right now. It's only second to Thiago Silva, in my opinion. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. I keep checking to see if anything new has emerged, because we don't have too much lined up to talk about today. It's about the build-up for the Brighton game. Why we wait for the presser to start if it hasn't already? The question I have for you is this. Are you looking forward to this particular game? Let us know. If you're not, let us know why that is the case. It'd be interesting to see what you have to say in the chat there. But let's hear you. Let me see if anything new has emerged there on the screen. I'm looking, and I'm sure we've heard about Chelsea looking to bring back Andrea Santos in January. I'm not shocked at that. I've always said when you send player on loan to a club, usually the clubs prioritize their own player. And it turns out that's the case. And you have to be exceptionally good that the manager would look beyond the players they have within their ranks to start a player who's on loan, which essentially means they're developing the player for another club. So yeah, it was a mistake. Maybe they don't have a good agreement in place, because usually there are agreements in place. I think there's one actually, but they just have to pay a fine. I can't quite remember, but I'm not surprised there. Let me see anything else, anything new. But let's hear you. Are you looking forward to this particular game? What do you think the outcome will be? Do you think Chelsea will beat Brighton, or do you think they'll beat us? But let's hear you. Nothing new, so we have to be yeah, they're doing something else until until the presser starts. And there's something else I saw that I wanted us to read. You could, yeah, this one here. Did I skip it? I did skip it actually. So this one here is saying Mauricio Pochettino was chatting in depth uh, with Mudryk in Broya today. Reports. Here's the thing. How do I read that? Some people might see this and say, "Oh, that means both of them will start. That means Broya could start over Nicholas Jackson, while Mihailo Mudryk could start over Raheem Sterling." But I'd say no. I don't see it like that. These are young players, and in training, the manager should be, yeah, speaking with them in depth, in my opinion. But we see things differently, and maybe that's how a lot of people see it. Let's see, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 15 likes. We should be doing better than that. Santos will be back, but they will send him out on loan, most likely. Oh, yeah. That's because he hasn't actually played for a while. It's just like, it would be no different from him starting afresh at Chelsea. Because, yeah, it's just a training. It's just more like, you can say he just went to Nottingham Forest to train, and that's it. And that's not enough. The manager, you have to be playing. The manager see you play in the Premier League to decide, okay, let's bring you back and keep you. I think maybe if he's lucky, he gets a chance to play. Or if he doesn't go out on loan again, gets a chance to play, and the manager decides, you know what, let's keep him. Um, but let's see what happens. It's a difficult one to take, really. We did everything we could to, you can say, to get him a work permit to play at the time, and it didn't work out. Mitoma is back. Yeah, I think we did talk about that during the prediction show, where I was telling Dante on the other side in the chat that when we started looking at the suspended and injured players, his name was there. But as the show progressed, when I checked again, his name wasn't there. And he actually played in the Europa League for them, didn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I checked their lineup within to find out whether he played, and I think he started actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mudryk needs to start this game. I think he needs, because there'll be spaces for him to exploit. But do you really think that the manager will start Mudryk over Raheem Sterling? Do I see that happening? It's hard to tell. He's done that before, but Sterling of late, you can say he's picked up form, and I still think the manager probably still trusts him more than Mihailo Mudryk. But that's just my opinion. Right now, listen, there are certain players that were then when you're trying to predict the manager's selection, certain players such as, you can say, Reece James if he's fit, Kukurea if he's fit, what's the saying, Cole Palmer if he's fit, you know those players will most certainly start. And the two sixes in Enzo Fernandez and Moses Caicedo, you know that they will most definitely start. But once it comes to Mudryk and Raheem Sterling, there's no way to tell the manager's preference at this point, because there are reasons why. You can look at certain time occasions where Raheem Sterling have started and find reason why you could say that's definitely the reason why the manager didn't select Mihailo Mudryk. But we're not too sure what the manager we don't know so much about him right now in terms of his selection process, but we'll find out in due time. We get used to it. We'll find a pattern and be able to predict his lineup correctly. Gala doesn't need to play this game. I want to see a proper attacking players. Okay, if you're saying you don't want Gallagher to start, who start? Give me the front three. Let's hear you. Give me the front three. Let's hear you. But I think he starts. As long as he's fit enough, I think he starts. Coach, after last game's performance, if he doesn't drop some players, possibly he may well, because of that poor performance against Newcastle United, drop some players. But we're not certain. No one is certain that's going to be the case until after that game, and we'll learn a lot from his selection on that day to see if his reactionary, or you could say if he reacts to players' performances by dropping someone on the bench and selecting the new faces. But we don't know. Let's see what else we have here. We have 15 likes. We should be doing better than that. Come on, people. Let's get the likes up. At this rate, Chelsea will be the first team to be coached by AI, going by the data-driven madness at the club. So much semantic with so little end product. Um, I think we'll get there, and I'm going to keep preaching this. I did not come into this particular season expecting so much of the team. Yeah, I tempered my expectations a long time ago, knowing that it will be a long season, and that's actually good for my mental health. Yeah, so I'm ready to take in whatever happens, but that's just me. Let's see what else we have here. And BRZ says, what do you think about their idea to such a new defensive midfielder, even if we are already if we already have Casado, Lavia, Ugo, Santos, and Enzo. I don't think I don't think we're looking to sign midfielders right now, in my opinion. If anything, we're looking for maybe a traditional 10, because you could argue we don't have one right now. We have players who are hybrid, plays in a certain position but capable of fulfilling the number 10 role. I don't think we're signing anything like maybe a player, you can say, who's a player that's capable of fulfilling the Enzo role in his absence, because Enzo's role is more of a hybrid of 8 and 6, with the independence to be wherever he deems fit on the pitch to help us control the game and all that. But I'm not too sure. I don't think we'll sign midfielders. I think the priority will be, as we've heard, a defender, a CB, and an attacker. Who? I don't know. Gabriel Moscado, have you not heard that we're actually not serious? We're not pushing to sign him. PSG, they're leading the race for his signature, and we're not. It doesn't look like we're interested. I get it. A few days ago, rumors emerged that we've signed him already. Yeah, it turns out it was PSG who were actually been pushing to sign him. That were not that interested. Moscardo, I like him. He's a combative midfielder, not just a typical number 6. He has more to his game, passing range, excellent on the ball, reads the game very, very well too. Overall, he's just an intelligent player. But I think we're packed in that department. It wouldn't make sense to sign him right now. But that's, by the way, if you're in the chat, if you have any other questions, if you have questions, drop it in the chat and I'll try to address it. And disclaimer, I do not know everything, but I'll try my best. And if I need help from those in the chat, I'll let them know. But let's hear you. Anything else you want us to talk about? There isn't much going on right now. We'll see. Hopefully the press starts soon, so we have a lot to talk about. But I didn't expect Nkunku to start the game against Brighton. It turns out that's going to be the case. Let's see. We are monitoring him for sure. That may well be the case, but it's if we end up signing him, that will, you can say, lead to people asking a lot of questions, especially agents of some players. Because it just wouldn't make any sort of sense. Mudryk, Palmer, Starling, and Jackson. So Jackson number 9, Mudryk left wing, Palmer right wing. Okay. I think do I think that will happen? I don't know. But let me just say, I don't think it happens. I think Gallagher still starts. And that's because you can say the manager prefers them to some other players we have within our ranks. That's because that's what that energy, that industry, that's just that. Beyond that, he doesn't. I get it. The numbers say he's leading in some, you can say, about 2 or 3 departments, like assist. I can't quite remember, but tackles and all that. But here's the thing: the bar is so low that even some players that wouldn't get into Chelsea's strongest 11, are looking like they've been our best players this season. So unfortunately, that's the case, and I think Gallagher starts. And you, if you've been paying attention, or except if you've been living under a rock, the manager likes him, and for a reason I've explained here 1,000 times, and I'm not going to go into that again. Hit the like button, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We have just 17 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's see if we can get it to 100 likes by the time the show ends. And if you have anything else, especially the members, if you have anything else you want us to talk about, let's go ahead and discuss. Start discussing that until the press starts, so we can get commenter from the manager's presser and talk about them. We don't need another DM. Yeah, I don't think we need one right now. Yeah, I get it. We've been stockpiling players, but at this point, it doesn't make sense anymore. Except if we're preparing for a transfer ban, then it will make some sense. But the fact we're in search for a new CP is more concerning for me. Cowell, Badiashile, Fofana, Disasi, that's four. And we can actually bring back Bashir Humphreys. He's not a bad option. He's excellent on the ball. Thiago Silva, this most likely will be his last season at Chelsea. Trevor Chalobah will be sold in January, most definitely. So we have just four. So maybe, that four there. Do you trust all of them that much? Right now, I don't trust Colwell that much as I know he has the potential to become one of the best CVs in the Premier League. But I think, I think yeah, it makes sense now to see why. Maybe I'm not too sure what to make of that. Whether we need a CB or not. Colwell, Badia, Sheila, Fofana, and the Sassi. That's four. Maybe they're looking for more experienced head to lead the back line for when Thiago Silva leaves the club. I'm not too sure. Maybe I have to take my time to look at the situation and figure out, do we really need one? And that's why we had the show scheduled actually because of we had technical difficulties and the show didn't go on. Left wing Mudryk, 10 Palmer, right wing Sterling. I think Sterling, for me, from what I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's been more productive on the left. Yeah, I think that's the case. On the right, I think he's a struggle to beat. He's not been as effective as he's been on the left, on the right hand side, in my opinion. But that's not a bad idea, actually. Let's see here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with 17 likes. We should definitely be doing better than that. Starts all day. Brian needs to bench that. Oh my God, called Jackson seriously. If in fact he was frowning when he was subbed off, like you said yesterday, as you said yesterday, I think maybe the manager needs to drop into the bench. Get him to go do some self-reflection to know that he's not perfect. I get it. He has 6 goals and our top scorer at the moment, but he's not been perfect. He's done a lot right. He's also done a lot wrong too. So he's not the man at the moment. But I still say this: he will come good, but Jackson alone will not suffice. We need more. We know Cuckoo and James can also help in central defensive. Not centrally. Kukurea left centre back. That's in a back three structure. Right centre back, Rhys James. Not like in a structure where they're flanked by the fullbacks. No. They need that space to be as effective. Like playing in the right centre back with a lot of space on the right hand side to be as effective. But centrally in a back four, no. I think you asking for it. We're gonna get demolished if we try that. If we think we just need a better striker to have a better rotation than Jackson. Jackson for me, listen, we need to mix it up, and I'm quite sure you've heard me say Jackson will come good. He's a good player. He's still he's 22. I get it. The argument will pop up again in the chat. There are players who are 22 who's done twice as much as Jackson have done as a player. You can say the situation differs for every player. There are players who emerged onto the scene very late. Yes, then I don't think it's about rotation. I think we need more than just Jackson. But and chances are with Nkunku and Broya would be okay. We'll find out that there's no need for us to go pay a premium to sign a striker, but we don't know. Everything comes down to how well the 3 of them are doing by the time we get to January. But we'll find out. BRZ is also saying no more players except a striker. Possibly. That may well be the case. We don't know. We need a striker, a creative attacking midfielder traditionally. Yep, we don't want... but here's where there's a problem here. We've heard that the manager prefers a player capable of playing across all that front area, centrally on the left and on the right, which was why we decided to go we decided to go for Cole Palmer. I just spilled my coffee. Give me a second here. Jeez. Okay. Which is why we decided to go for Cole Palmer. But it's just saying we need a striker, a creative attacking midfielder. And we have Dan that can play right wing as well, and a proper left back with world class goalkeeper. I want us to go for Theo Hernandez. Do I think we'd go for him? It's difficult to say, really, because it's not going to come cheap. Yep. But let's see what the club does. We move. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Your English for me has been perfect. You've been communicating effectively. Everything you had in the chat that I've read, I think, all makes sense. It makes sense to me. Yes, I think Jackson will be a good player, but he cannot be at this moment our number one. And Broya should be sold. Broya, I think the manager likes him. We've heard that 1,000 times. So chances are that he stays. But we'll find out soon. Yeah, there's no telling. Let me see. Okay, the presser have started. I think in a bit, we'll start addressing the items from the presser. Let's go for it right now. No need wasting your time there. The first item from the presser here, is that the first one? Should we say that's the first one? That's a 3 minutes one. Probably there's more. 4 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. So we have to start from somewhere 7 minutes ago. A lot. He said a lot. So 7 minutes ago, that's probably when the presser started. This one here, yep, that's the first item from the presser here, in my opinion. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And as you can hear, B. Ozzy, the captain of the house, tells you your English is good. Excellent, actually, in my opinion. I've seen worse. I've seen people who speak English traditionally, but whenever they write something in the chat, it will be all jumbled up and not easy to comprehend. And this is Mauricio Pochettino on injuries. He says, not too many news. I don't believe we can recover some players that was previously possible. We will see if we can have more training sessions for some to be available. I think before time, you can say Poch never on time. You can say he was on time today, maybe. Yeah, we will see that one. Then nothing to make of it. We knew before time that Christopher Nkunku wasn't going to start. And the second comment there, Mauricio Pochettino doesn't fully rule out Christopher Nkunku or Romeo Lavia being involved versus Brighton. Wow, he describes him as close. I don't think he's going to risk it. I don't think so. But we'll find out. Big up Kachila in the chat up. The Chelsea True Blue. Clay, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Smash the like button, people. And also do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, the likes do go a long way. True Blue Clay, you got your message got deleted because you use all caps. Apologies for that. I'm going to be saying it. Nightbot is, by the way, a machine. It's not a human being. His discipline is great. Yeah, I get it. I like this comment on the screen. He says he comes in peace. But that's, by the way, I don't think Christopher Nkunku plays a part. I don't think Lavia plays a part too. I don't even think they'd be on the bench, given the two other items we've addressed. He's listed as progressing in this rehabilitation process. Two of them, him, Romeo Lavia, so I'd be shocked, maybe, except if he's playing mind games. We'll find out in a bit. Roger Dodger in the house. Roger, nice to see you, brother. I hope you've been well. I hope that the case is that you've been busy, but you know, we love you here. But by the way, Roger, nice to see you. Are you looking forward to this one? Let's start with that question. And more importantly, how are you doing?
Hola, Coach. How are you, sir?
Gracias. And let me ask you quickly. When I told you that I traveled to San Antonio the last time, did you suggest Texas Steakhouse?
No. There's this brisket place. I forgot the name of it. I'll have to look it up. It's an excellent
Texas
place.
Steakhouse.
No, not that's a chain. No, there's like one brisket place in San Antonio. There's like 2 or 3 of them. It's the best brisket I've ever had in my life.
No, we
Yeah.
went to the Texas Steakhouse, and I was telling
Yeah.
my family that someone, so I didn't know it wasn't the one. But go ahead,
No.
Roger. Are you looking forward to this one?
But thanks for thinking about steak now. I can't get that out of my mind. Yeah, Texas Steakhouse, not bad. It's not a bad place either. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not at the same time because I must admit, you know, I'm a bit biased here, looking at it from a goalkeeper's perspective. Defensively, like you said that you don't trust Colwell. I think that's valid to a certain extent, but let's be honest. Even the one person that I trust in defense, Thiago Silva, is capable of the occasional faux pas. We make so many errors, and a lot of them mental. You know,
Schoolboy errors.
very much so schoolboy errors. You know, I look at even Badiashile. Listen, I know it's his first game back, so it's a bit premature to criticize him, but he looked horrible also. You know, Colwell looks poor. Disasi looks poor. Fofana, obviously, we can't comment on it because he hasn't played. You can honestly say that all of our 5 out of our 6 centre backs have played poorly this season. Let's be honest. If these players, all these 5 centre backs, played for another team, we'd be critical of them far more than we are because they played for Chelsea. They have been very substandard. Let's be honest here. I mean,
and just quickly, disclaimer right here: saying I don't trust Colwell doesn't mean I'm not saying he's not a good player. Lack of experience.
No. Yeah, there's a myriad of reasons why each and every one of them has played poorly. We are leaking goals for fun. It's just, you know, I tell you what. You know, you look at Cucurella, for instance. He was playing. He allowed it. I think it was the 12th minute for them to score because he kept their players onside. That's a mental error. Now, if you're looking at the 90th to the 100th minute where you're exhausted, yeah, you usually are more prone to making mental errors. But this is the very early stages of the game, not the first 30 to 60 seconds, but the 12th minute or so. Unacceptable. To me, mental errors are worse than physical errors, you know. But just generally speaking, I can honestly say, and even listen, let's be honest here, the player that we all absolutely drool over, Reece James, if you look at his first few seconds when the last game started, he looked horrible from the very beginning, losing possession. He looked out of sorts. He played a very poor game, probably the worst of his career for Chelsea. You can honestly say across the board defensively, we are.
Would you say that tiredness was also a factor in that Newcastle game?
But why?
Because of the international break and all that. But
no. And we did, like, for instance, you didn't have what's his name, Caicedo playing because he flew in the night before. Yes, that you can contribute some fatigue, but I don't think that you can explain it across the board because every single player, with the exception of our keeper, played absolutely pathetically. We were not up for it. We were flat from the very beginning. Okay, this is just one sample out of 13 for the Premier League, but you can honestly look at between 10 and 11 out of those 13 games and say that there's at least 1 to 2 to 3 poor performances each game. And I'm not being self-critical. I'm not being negative. I'm just being honest with my assessment. It's from a perspective, until we can play consistently, you know, the easiest thing to do in football is to basically tighten up a defense, to practice on maneuvers, you know, when you're back
before we bring it back to the Brighton game, let me ask you this. The lack of consistency, would you say it's because the manager is tinkering too much? The same issue we witnessed on the Graham Potter, or would you say it's down to the players?
I think some injuries come into that where we can't, and then obviously
you can play certain players consistently.
Yeah, because of man management. Like you couldn't play Reece for 90 minutes upon his return. He's had his hands tied, just like most managers do, because of either international or injuries or suspensions. One thing that you definitely can blame on the coaching staff, and I believe it starts from them, is the lack of discipline. The amount of cards we've accumulated from a gesturing of a card or talking back or kicking the ball away, that's unacceptable. That definitely comes down to the lack of leadership and the lack of the coaching staff implementing and instilling discipline into them. You can honestly listen. I love Poch. Don't get me wrong. I'm not on the bandwagon for him to go. I'm not even coming close to even contemplating that thought. I'm just saying this is symptomatic of a lack of leadership for both the coaching staff and the very small amount of players with experience that we have.
Yeah. One more thing. With regard to that Newcastle game, I did say something like that, and Constantine Dante in the chat agrees with me, and he never does, that. Would you say that mentality was an issue on the day? Maybe the players came into that game with the mindset, came into that game with the mindset, this is 3 points for us. Because that's why Charity FC, if you ask me to define it, I'd say it's a mentality thing, where they go into certain games feeling like they've won that one already without even putting the work needed to win a game. Would you say that mindset was an issue on the day? Because Newcastle, they were poor before us. Before that particular game, they've been struggling, losing games back and forth, and then once it got to us, let's hear you.
It certainly seemed that way because they looked flat from the beginning. You look at Reece James from the very first few seconds; he looked very nonchalant. The whole team did. They weren't up for it. That's the expression that you hear a lot from American athletes in sports. Yeah, sorry, wasn't up for the game today. And that's what you hear. And their body language spoke volumes. They weren't mentally together. You look at Cucurella not having his head screwed on properly. I think it was a multitude of things. I think they did go into that game perhaps nonchalant, whether it's subconscious or conscious. They may have seen that, oh my gosh, our opponent has so many players missing. All we have to do is show up. Perhaps that was the mindset. Perhaps that was the mindset.
Showing off alone. Go ahead.
Only they know, coach. Only those players know. All I do know is that they didn't play to their fullest potential. And to me, they shouldn't be paid for that game. They really shouldn't. They should, all their weekly salary should go to children's charity. As simple as that. It was poor.
You should, really.
It was poor. I mean, listen, I'm looking at it from a defensive standpoint. I'm not too concerned about going forward, about not shooting on target or testing the keeper. Forget that. I'm just talking about defensive aspect. Utterly unacceptable. Because the one thing you can do, you can get any coach to set up a defense where you can drill. All you do is drill defensive scenarios, and you play with that back four or back five, whichever formation you want to have, and you can screw it down tight. It's that simple. It's one of the easiest things to do is to implement a tight defense. Usually teams concede because they're stretched or they're in transition or there's a deflection, etc. You can implement a tight, and that's something that Poch is famous for. And I'm sorry, this hasn't transpired. We're conceding goals for fun. And lately, the keeper's actually been very good. He's made some incredible saves the last few games.
He's improved from, you can say, the first few games he played for us. And we realized at the time he needed to play more.
Yeah, and he has made, for instance, the Newcastle game, he was flopping around on the ground. Luckily, it didn't lead to us conceding a goal, but he still has some flaws. However, he has actually come out and made some world-class saves and prevented us from conceding more, which is scary because, honestly, I'm looking at our defensive players and honestly, they're not good enough. They're just based on what we've seen thus far. Don't get me wrong. You could see Badiashile and Colwell.
Yes, Roger. I agree with you. If you remember this season, when people were saying we had the best defensive record, you and I were saying no, there are issues there.
Yes.
So no, I'm not shocked really. I
No.
think the only time they do well is if we have Casado and again any of the, if we have a 6 on the pitch that reads the game so well and protects them better. You can say it leads to us not seeing that we have defensive issues, and then that may well be one of the reasons why the club is looking to sign another centre back in January. But go ahead so that we can catch up with what we have in the chat and go back to addressing the manager's comments.
Yeah, no, I get your point about a covering 6, and listen, you can't really critique Ugochukwu because he's so young. He's been thrown in the deep end,
And probably hasn't played together with the team.
Yeah,
hasn't played constantly. That's the issue.
I can't give him a grade because it's unfair. But don't forget, most of our defensive errors were not from because of a lack of coverage. Far from
No, I'm
it.
not saying that's the case. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. On this instance,
go ahead.
Yeah, and this is no. You're right, though. Generally speaking, it is because of we get open up in midfield, but this wasn't the case. These were defensive centre back errors and/or fullback errors. These were either mental or physical errors that led to us conceding, and it's happening a lot. No, I understand. Conceding 4 to City, that's nothing wrong in that because that's a formidable team. Okay, but just generally speaking, this last performance was unacceptable. And going forward, I don't have too much, unless they can prove it on a consistent basis that we can eradicate these errors and produce clean sheets. I have very little confidence in us defensively. We're just not playing well, period.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've always preached progress, and we're making progress. But what I haven't preached, you haven't, you can't hear me preach right now, is that we're back. No, I've always said I'm not.
We're not progressing, Coach. We are to a certain extent. You can see patterns of play, but defensively, actually, we're regressing. I cannot say honestly that we're progressing. We're not. We're regressing
until proven otherwise, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, listen, these are youngsters, with the exception, obviously, of Silva. Obviously, the rest are very young players, and it shows.
Yeah. All right, let me catch up. I'll give those in the chat the microphone. We'll get back to looking at the manager's comments during his presser. Is it me or did Poch seem quite cagey in the presser? Says we are our own biggest enemy. Hope that he is including himself when he says that. Being cagey is something managers did do that. Probably playing mind games, doesn't want the opponent to know which players will start. Realistic Roger back in the house. There you go, the love there. And once more again, people, IBZ did send me a message that he went under the knife. If you don't know what that means, it's another way of saying somebody underwent a surgery. But the good thing is that he had the time to speak with me, to send me a message, which simply means he's doing well. And he says he'll be back on the panel when he recovers fully. But as one of us, we need to keep praying for him. We didn't go into details with regard to what sort of a surgery it was, but the signs are good. Since he had the time to send a message and to let us know that he's missed us and that he's looking forward to recovering and joining the panel. Roger, were you saying something?
Yeah, good to hear that he's doing better. I wish him a speedy recovery, obviously.
Yeah. So let's see, what else do we have here? Let's get what we have in the chat. Continue looking at the manager's presser. Wow, this system is a bit slow. I am definitely looking forward to it better. See a reaction from Portuguese players. This is a game must be a front foot attacking win properly, and I'd rather we face a full strength Brighton. I don't want a situation where here the best players are out, but it's looking like the only important player that will be missing on the day may well be just what's his name? Is it Dunk? Is that his name? That got red carded
Lewis
in their
Dunk,
last
yeah.
game. Estupinian, I think, will be back because when we were looking at the injury and suspended players list, he was listed as doubtful. And even Mitoma, who was listed at doubtful, did play for them in the Europa League. Let's see what happens. I'm looking forward to that one too. Tiredness is not a factor, as Newcastle players were away as well, especially South Americans. So no excuses. So maybe down to the fact it's a mentality thing. They went into that game with the mindset, said, yeah, it's 3 points for us. After all, we drew 4-4 against Manchester City. That's how I see it. Let's see. Brighton looked like they were practicing a low block away at the team they played against, Ike, yesterday. They were lucky to win that game. I doubt they play the same way at the bridge. We have to finish our chances. Yep, I think we have to. His hands were not tied when he played Palmer in the 10 and Gallagher at right wing against Newcastle. White tried to fix something that isn't broken. If you guys remember earlier in the season, Poch said he wants his players to be more undisciplined, and now he's complaining about their ill-discipline. Okay, they were looking forward to the night out in Newcastle. Here, they have a great clubbing scene. Wow. What a way to put it. Great to see you too, Tommy Dyer. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. And respect to everyone on the platform. It's been a while, guys. It's so good to be back, and nice to have you back also. And hopefully the cases that you've been busy and nothing has happened, and the beautiful game is in the house. It cannot be stressed enough that when teams play against us, they raise their game to astronomical level that they don't do versus and other teams, including City and Arsenal. John Terry once said. That's why we're Chelsea. Chelsea play 38 cup finals per season. Okay, cup finals per season. What am I mixing something up? All we have to do is make one mistake, and we are punished 100% of the time because our opponents have 10-10 performance, and all we need to have is 9-10, and we lose. Wow, you took your time to prepare this. I think it makes sense. Big up to you too, brother. Always nice to see you. Let's see anything else there. Yeah, Ngolo Dante, call him that. And the ADL is saying Zidane or Conte for what to coach Chelsea. Let's get done with Poch first. I don't think the owners at this point will be looking to fire him because majority of the issues you can say we're experiencing right now. You can't put them on him, in my opinion. Yeah, people having conversation there. Enjoy yourself. And AD are still saying, I think I'm going to scroll to the very bottom so we can start looking at comments from the manager's presser. Selling the expensive defender is completely useless. Fofana out. I wouldn't say he's useless. He's had injury issues. Do I think the club will sell him? I don't think so. If he comes back and starts doing well, I think they're going to keep him. And let's see. Lamin Baz, hi guys. It's time that we go for winning mentality and consistency. I think I agree. It's a delight to finally hear Roger's voice after such a long time. Yep. The good thing is that he's okay. More importantly, let's see what else we have here. I'm gonna scroll to the very bottom in a bit. Until now, Chelsea has been said to be very bad in terms of defense. The number of goals are considered quite high, especially in 2 games in a row. Chelsea's biggest mistake was selling Mendy and buying Sanchez. Mendy wanted to leave, first of all. He didn't sign a new contract, so let's, you could say, always, consider everything that happened before deciding what that's what we think will happen. As the saying goes, a club will be successful if it is coached by a great coach with many achievements. I don't know that saying. That's the first time I'm seeing that one there. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm glad that Roger is back. So much love that I'm jealous. Thank goodness finally we get to hear analysis like we are on the pitch. Welcome back, Be quiet, Roger. Wow, Roger, don't ask for a raise because you're not gonna get it. Okay, I'm seeing that. So much love. Not even me, not Bobby, not anybody else. Just Roger, Roger, Roger. January, Chelsea need a centre back and a new spearhead up because a centre back Silva is no longer younger. Age cannot lie, and Jackson is not much better than Bashuai and like Remy. Wow, some comment right there. Take it easy. Don't give Roger. Yeah, exactly. Don't give Roger a big head, please. Be easy with it. Let's see what else. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom in a bit, but I think I'm getting there. Good morning to you too. I appreciate you joining, Eugene. Yes, it's good to see Roger back. We've been attending court without legal representation all this time, and yet we're still won all our cases. Go figure, and we're back. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. If you can sell Sanchez for find out the price might still be expensive. Sanchez is not much better than Mendy. We're not arguing that now. Chances are he will be. What do you think? Can we make a top four if Nkunku can stay fit until the end of the season? The possibility is still there because other teams that by now should be, you could say, should have done, you can say, done well enough to guarantee a top four finish for themselves. They've not been winning games too. It just reminds me of last season where we were losing games and the other teams were losing games too. You could argue for that reason we're not playing in the championship right now. Roger is the best hands down. Wow. Okay. I'm just gonna start banning people who praise Roger too much. If we secure victories against both Brighton and Man United, the entire fan base is likely to shift its stance. Praising the team. Flip-flop is what a lot of Chelsea fans do. Yeah, Chelsea are back to the next day. Chelsea are a disgrace. However, in the event of our next loss, there might be a reversal in a sentiment with some calling out Poch. Yeah, you're just wasting your time using big language to describe flip-flop. Rather than Roger, Mourinho is a hard coach, full of achievements, or Zidane is full of Champions League titles. Rather than Roger, did we talk about any manager that's Roger? Okay, that's by the way. Roger, were you saying something?
No.
Why are you laughing?
I'm like, no, I didn't coach in the Premier League.
Okay. Before we start looking at the managers, the comments are from the managers presser. Let's hear you, Roger. Maybe he meant Potter, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's hear you, Bobby. Bobby, are you looking forward to this one? Because this is a build-up show. But let's hear you. I hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for finding the time to join us on the panel here on this particular morning. But let's hear you, Bobby. Are you looking forward to this one?
Hola, Bobby.
Okay, while he unmutes his device, it takes a while before he gets on with that. If we lose against Brighton, I am sure Chelsea will have another holiday in the Champions League next season, possibly. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see anything else to address here before we start looking at the manager's comment. Brendan Rodgers, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I think the reason why we're going for another CB is Fofana is injury prone, Thiago Silva retirement, and the sale of a possible sale of Chalobah in January.
Hey,
yeah,
Bobby.
I saw Bobby. Go ahead. Are you looking forward to the Brighton game? Let's hear you.
First of all, hola, Roger. Gosh, we've missed you. I don't even know. I haven't seen you on any platforms. I was having some sort of withdrawal symptoms. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I hope you're well.
Yeah, doing better now. Thank you, sir.
Good. And
Roger isn't
big up. No, Roger's box office.
That's it.
Big up to Coach. Listen, am I looking forward to this one? I'm going to divide my response into two parts. The first part
Mhm.
is I am not interested in anybody telling me about any team having injuries. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
Chelsea have carried magnificent numbers of injuries for 3 years. Nobody talks about it. Brighton themselves have benefited from playing weakened Chelsea teams. We go out there, we get on with it. So I don't care. I know they don't have that many injured out anywhere. A lot of them played
Yeah, they're
yesterday
done. Yeah, a lot of them
anyway.
will be back against
So
us.
so I don't care. I don't know why all of a sudden the Chelsea troll journos are beginning to throw that up as our injuries are coming back. And this leads me into the next part of my response. We haven't had a team all season. People wonder what Poch was doing last international break. Well, he was doing what he does all international breaks. That's nurse back and look for fitness in the injuries, in the injured players, and in some of the walking semi-injured players and the recovering players. That's what we are. A team full of very young players that were purchased because we needed to bring down our wage bill and subscribe to FFP more favorably. Two, because we're in a project, we decided to go down that route. Younger, cheaper in terms of wages, and futuristic in terms of integrating. Well, we haven't had the opportunity to integrate. They're all strangers to each other, still learning each other, constantly disrupted by injuries and things like the international break. Yes, you can say it's happened to everybody, but not quite like this. Not quite like this. I'm not even having that either. In terms of the injuries, it's not the same. In terms of the newness, it's not the same. We are a new team, new coach, new board, new everything, new project. So, of course, things like Newcastle are going to happen, just like West Ham happened, just like Nottingham Forest happened, just like Villa happened. We are going to have these hiccups. We're going to have these brilliant games like against Arsenal, against Man City, against Spurs, and we're going to have these sort of blips, somewhat inconsistencies. This is what it means to be in this type of project. As I said yesterday, Coach, lots of people talk the project, but they struggle to live the project. Well, now we're in it, we're living it. My expectations are not there. The only thing I expect, or put an expectation on certainly Pochettino, is that we remain in the Premier League. But, will we be able to do anything of note this season? I'm not going to hang my hat on it. Let's just be there, win as many games. This looks like a season that is a pre-season for us, integrating players, bringing back injured players. I mean, people are talking about Nkunku. What do you think Nkunku's going to do? He's going to spend the rest of the season probably trying to get fit, as with Lavia. We seem to have these different levels of expectation. We're dealing with human beings, not with uh, 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 PlayStation game players. These are people that have had serious injuries, and it's going to take them time. Look at Brozier. Brozier, since his recovery, he's still not fit. He's still trying to stay fit. Not to mention Carney, that we haven't seen at all. So, I hope Brozier's fit enough to start tomorrow, because I will start him ahead of Jackson and bring Jackson on in later. But I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. As I said to you yesterday, this team, it could beat Brighton 7-0 tomorrow, or it could end up like with Newcastle. You won't know. And these are the inconsistencies that come when you're building from scratch a young team, and when they are in this situation, new, not rehearsed, and not fit. We're still nursing our way back to fitness. I reiterate, we have not had a team this season. We have not been ready for the season. We've been limping, struggling. And at the peak of our injuries, nobody cared. Nobody cared that Arsenal came to Stamford Bridge with the full itinerary of their players and we were limping. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. We've done that with City. Nobody cared. We've done that with Spurs. Nobody gives a rat's backside. So anyone, all these people talking about Brighton's injuries, save that for the next team. You don't talk about that with Chelsea. Tomorrow, we wait and see. We hang on to our hats because this is going to be a whirlwind of a ride because of the situation we're in. It's not an excuse, it's a reason and a fact.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you so much, Bobby. I'm going to get what we have in the chat and we'll go back to looking at the managers'
Just
comments.
quickly, Coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want Roger. Roger, do you like my avatar? Well, it's not an avatar, it's a real picture. It's my back next to Michael Jordan's uh, uh, mannequin.
I recognize Michael.
Yeah, well, maybe one day I'll reveal myself, perhaps when I retire.
There you go. Yeah, it's pretty
All
cool,
right.
actually.
I'm looking forward
I
to that.
badgered
We
Coach
are.
about this yesterday.
Go ahead.
So I was saying I
Go ahead,
badgered you
Bobby.
about this so much. Yeah, I'm here. I said I badgered you about this so much. I don't know. I'm
No,
on
that,
two
it
streams,
doesn't really
Coach.
bother me, honestly. But
No,
yeah.
I'm on two streams. There's my other avatar. There's this one. I don't know what's happening. I pressed unmute and I opened up StreamYard. It's crazy what my phone is
Mhm.
doing these days, but I'll try and sort it.
All right. The Political Game says we are not finishing top four because the Premier League are waiting to see where we finish before they hit us with a 10-point deduction. We just got to make sure we are 10 points clear of the drop zone. So even minus that, I still don't think we'll suffer a point deduction, but we'll find out. Let's see what else we have here. Hello, Bobby. A lot of people saying hello to you in the chat.
It won't
Constantine
do
Dante
anything.
and yeah,
Sorry,
and
Coach.
here,
Hi,
sorry,
Constant. Sorry, Coach. Hi,
yeah,
Constant. They won't do anything, Coach. If they dare try, we take them to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Chelsea have paid their penalty. The person that was guilty of all that has also paid the penalty. They took away his club. Now, if we're going to include the forced sale of clubs for any misdemeanor, well,
hmm
be my guest. Let City, let Everton, let Liverpool, let Man United, all of them sell their clubs when they commit an infringement. No, I don't think they have a leg to stand on to do anything to Chelsea just for simply declaring the findings of their audit. So all those
yeah,
people dreaming and having
yep,
orgasms of some sort of punishment, you're going to be very, very high, dry, and disappointed.
yeah. And let's see how the one from Man City pans out. I think what date was that was mentioned? The trial starts. Coach, you don't need much talks. Thank you. I appreciate all the praise there. I don't like reading such thing about myself. If you understand, that's not me skipping your comments. I think Lavia is a better footballer than Casado. Yes, then I don't think it would do us any good to try to compare them. They're different. One is more aggressive than the other. The other one, you could argue, I said, once Lavia returns, in my opinion, I think he should be the sitting DM for us, even if we're going with a 4-3-3 structure. Casado and Enzo can flank him. Why do I say that? Because of all the players we have right now, he's much better at beating the press. He's a mashup of Kovacic and a bit of Kante. Yeah, he's that good. Let's see what else we have here. So I don't think it makes sense to be comparing them. Sam Gala, 23. I get where that's coming from. We talked about that yesterday. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We don't have too many likes, but I think things will improve as we start to stream constantly. Lavia was a Southampton standout. How he plays is, I really like him. Only issue is being in a relegation team. He's a talent, and we knew that even when he was still at City. He's an excellent talent. I think it will come good for us. And I'm glad we signed him. Jackson's main problem is a long time. It takes him a lot too much time to make a decision. It can be cause of pressure of that number 9 possibly, or it can be the quality reason. Time will show. And plus, if we create twice as much as we're creating, yeah, he have more opportunity to score more goals for us. So you never create enough in football, in my opinion. So Bobby cannot reveal himself if he's undercover secret agent. We don't want to talk about that. He has a reason for that, and I know you're playing, but but his voice is very unique. I get what you're saying there. Let's see what else we have here. This item right here says, Roger, OMG, Roger is the only person who is realistic. We are a young new team. Sadly, no one wants to realize that. I'm jealous. And Collington has never been here
Roger,
for
you
like
mean
how many
Bobby?
years now? Just come in and gives Roger the whole credit of something everyone, all of us on the panel knows. I'm
That's
jealous,
not only
Roger.
a tap-in, that's like a penalty kick online. That is just, that is insane.
Wow.
Checks in the mail,
Collington just
Collington.
comes and gives Roger all the credit for something that I, Bobby, and everyone else has been saying for a while. Roger, do you send them checks?
Me no English.
But much love. I enjoy it when people admire the truthfulness, or you can say the objectivity of our panelists. Yeah, it's our joke. Yep, Roger always likes to be objective. And this year, Mauricio Pochettino doesn't fully rule out Christopher Nkunku or Romeo Lavia being involved versus Brighton. He describes him as close. I don't think it happens. He hasn't actually trained with his teammate in terms of play around, play like he was pictured running with them, and that's it. I don't know. Roger, let's hear you.
What's that?
Sorry?
What are you referring to, sir?
This is saying Mauricio Pochettino is saying doesn't fully rule out Christopher Nkunku or Romeo Lavia being involved versus Brighton. I don't buy that. I don't think they play a part because we've read the injury report saying both are just progressing. You can say in their respective rehabilitation process. It's just I don't think any of them plays a part. Even 5 minutes, they're not going to play on that level. Let's hear you if you have anything to add to that.
I mean, it's possible they could come on for 5-10 minutes. Possible.
Even though they're listed as progressing in their rehabilitation process, and but let's hear you.
I mean, yeah, I doubt it also, but I wouldn't rule it out for a minor appearance. Possibly just even an appearance on the bench, in all likelihood. But who knows? You know, yeah, you're right. A lot of these coaches play mind games. It's, as Bobby has been preaching seriously for a long time now. Listen, it's going to take a while for these chaps to get up to game speed. And then they're going to start off just like Reece did. Initially 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, then the next game, the last 20 minutes. And you're going to see increments as such. And don't expect them to be starting for another 4 to 6 games minimum.
Yeah. And let me say this also, Roger. Given the fact the pictures are just showed him running with his teammates, and had any of them trained with the team, proper training like competitive training, I think we'll be hearing that by now. It's Friday and nothing showed. We haven't seen anything that shows that both have trained with that but that both have participated in a competitive training process. Do you still think they get a chance to play on Sunday, even if it is 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's possible for a small cameo appearance. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Is it likely? Probably not. It all depends, you know. Only they know.
But we'll see.
I mean, only they know.
Only they know. Yeah.
To be honest with you, and the players know, and the physio. That's it. Listen. I don't think. Well, we're assuming that they're 95 to 100% fit. So if that's the case, then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for a 5-10 minute cameo. But other than that, I wouldn't rule anything.
Bobby, you have anything to add to that? Do you think Nkunku and Lavia, do you think any of them will play a part on Sunday, or should we move on? If you're there, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, just as Roger said, only they know, football is full of surprises, and often coaches play certain things close to their chest.
Mm.
However, this one, I would be almost totally bowled over if I see any of them, even on the bench, not to mention on the field.
Yeah.
I really will be surprised because they haven't with the players. If they have, then it's been in secret. They didn't keep Brozier's training regime in secret, so it makes no sense if they do that with Nkunku and Lavia. I don't even think Nkunku has been taking part in the passing the ball to each player exercise sort of thing. So they're not. I mean, they're getting closer, but working on recovery, not to mention fitness, especially Lavia, who's still just out running with the guys and not playing yet. So, as you know, we said December, maybe towards the end of December, we might see one of them, then the beginning of January, the other. Now, seeing them is one thing, them being match fit is another. That it's in itself takes about another. Reece James still hasn't got there. So, as I've said, this they will spend more or less the whole season being fit, and that's why trying to get fit. And that's why next season, we must take a very, very, very strong stance against injury. Players' fitness, strength, upper body strength, lower body strength. I know the injury, like the one to Nkunku, was a contact injury, but had we not played on a potato field at the Soldiers Field in Chicago, maybe it may not have been as bad. So there are all these things. I mean, we go on tours and we're playing football in some of these places with not the best of pitches. We learned a
Mm-hmm.
damn thing. Well, I suppose it's new ownership now. Remember what happened to Ruben, although that was a malicious jibe at his Achilles. But we did lose a couple of other players because of the state of the pitch that day. So all these things need to be taken into consideration, and the fitness of the players needs to be taken into consideration, because when you're not fit enough season, you pick up injuries. So, in terms of injuries, I really don't want to hear any of this Chelsea thing that we've had for the past 3 years of 12 players out injured, all that malarkey. That is a ridiculous, unacceptable number. It's more unacceptable than our bad performance against Newcastle.
All right, thank you so much. I doubt they start, but Roger makes sense. Chances are, if they train even tomorrow, I don't know if they'll have double sessions tomorrow or if they train once this evening and tomorrow they may play a few minutes on that day, but we'll find out. Clearly, love is in the air, and we're nowhere near close to Valentine's Day, just because a lot of people are showing Roger love, and the Bluetooth game doesn't like that. Wow, he's jealous, just like me. That's just Roger. LP and another account. Maybe he's just using another account to make himself so important, right?
Nice one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that one is funny, really. It's a day before game. It's either they are ready or they're not. That's another way to say it. And Tom, Abida Kun is in the house. Tom, Mr. Tom, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. With 28 likes, we can do better than that. And this particular comment, Roger, I hope you're paying attention. Is saying It says yeah, extremely jealous. Yeah, I think you're jealous. I know the love is just too much for you to bear, and it's not coming to you, but to someone else.
Can
Mauricio
I add
Pochettino on
something,
top four
Coach?
chances. So yeah, go ahead.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah, go ahead,
I
brother.
think, Pochettino was really criticized for giving the players a couple of days off after Newcastle. But
Mm,
I support what he personally believe that he did it mainly for the benefit of Caicedo, Enzo, and Jackson, people that traveled outside of Europe, and indeed to a certain extent Mudrik, people that traveled outside of Europe, Europe or far away within Europe, that came back late or needed some sort of rest period to recover. You
mhm,
see, this is
mhm.
the thing where playing the recovery game at the moment at Chelsea, and until we get our squad fit, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because they're not even look at what we spoke about in Kunku and Lavia. They're not even playing with the guys in training. So how can you develop any kind of rhythm or understanding when you're not even practicing with your teammates? So we've got a little bit of a way to go, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we do. But the hope is there. And Mauricio Pochettino on whether Chelsea can make top four. He responds by saying, "We need to believe it's a realistic. It's going to be tough to achieve the places to allow us to play in a European competition. The most important now is to see the process and improve every day. That's the difficult thing. I think it's more there. I'm just gonna go. I didn't want to do that. Okay. That's the difficult thing. Always to focus on today and not tomorrow. Take the games as they come. But let's say you, Roger. What do you make of him saying we need to believe it's realistic, which means he doubts it's possible to an extent, in my opinion. Mathematically, it's still possible. But Roger, do you see the possibility of us achieving a European place? Let's just not go top four, which is Champions League proper. But let's say even European Conference League and Europa Cup. Let's hear you. Do you see the possibility?
I believe we have played at a consistent level that our present standing in the league, I think, is a true representative of where we stand right now. We've been
Mhm.
playing 10th place football. Now we're going to get some players back that could help us. However, unless things change, meaning we tighten up defensively and we start taking our chances being more clinical, I don't see that transpiring. Based on what I've seen thus far, I could have some blind faith and say, yeah, we can do it because we're getting players A, B, and C back. But let's be honest, um, I don't see it transpiring. I think 13 plus games I've seen Jackson play, it doesn't appear that he's ready based on what we've seen, that I don't believe he's good enough to play. He scored 3 goals against 9 players. In other words, he's played 12 plus games, however many it is, where he's only scored 2 goals. Is that clinical enough? No. He can't head the ball. So who knows? Maybe Nkunku can make a difference. Maybe Jackson, maybe something switches on. One doesn't know. But based only on what I've seen thus far, I think that's far fetched to say that we can make it above 8. Really, based on what I'm seeing, I'm being realistic here. I'm, I'd love to say,
No,
yeah,
I
we're
know.
we're top 5, but that's not the case. We're leaking goals and we're not taking chances. We're not clinical. That's a recipe for being in the bottom 10. Period.
Wow. Thank you, realistic Roger. I didn't wasn't my that name wasn't my idea, right? So
No,
people
I
are
know,
paying
but it's.
attention. Uh, no, I believe you.
I don't
It
want to
makes
say
sense.
it.
I'm just
You
saying
know,
people are paying attention to how you speak and what you say. But go ahead, Roger.
yeah, I don't wish to sound negative. I'm just basing it on what's transpired thus far. And
And you've been objective, really, no jokes.
yeah, I really am. It's like I'd love to say, yeah, I can
Yeah,
see Jackson getting 20 plus goals, but let's be honest, I haven't seen it thus far. Now, I hope that we do improve, and I hope we do become far more clinical and we become far more tight at the back. I hope that's the case, but until I see otherwise, I say we're going to be between 8th and 12th based on, don't forget, I mean, this is based on the fact that we don't incur any more injuries. Think about that.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Bobby, let's say you want to chip in. Let's get your 2 cents on whether you think would make top four or not.
Well, that's a far cry. I think
Yeah.
Pochettino
But I
was
don't
right.
expect the manager to say no, it's not possible now.
No, of course.
No, he didn't. He didn't say. He
No, I'm saying
just
I didn't say he said
said,
that. I
"Look,
don't expect him to say no, it's not possible.
no, no." Especially when it's mathematically possible, he's not going to
Hmm.
say that at
Yeah.
all. But he knows the state of the team, and it's obvious. Is it possible? Absolutely. Football's a funny business. Things could turn around in a week, and you start going, or you could hit this form and have some luck and have go on an incredible run. It's happened many a time before to many a team, and it's going to happen many a time again to many a team. But looking at it realistically, just as Roger said, it's highly unlikely. And my expectation is just stay in the league. It looks like we are going to be, because of the situation, rather mid-table. Very frustrating. You see, it's very difficult building back up to the top once you've been at the top. The fan base, this is what hurts us all and hurts the fan base, and they over criticize the club because it's painful. Once you've had it good, it's very difficult to have it bad and try and get it good again. Whereas if you're a team like Brighton that's never had it good and you're building up and you're slowly climbing, easier to take the bumps on the road. That's what's happening with us. And, people forget a lot of these players. This is not only the fact that they're new to each other and they're very young and immature in mentally, not to mention football wise. A lot of them, this is their first season in the Premier League, vis-a-vis the likes of Jackson. And in as much as I fully understand what Roger said about Jackson, I remain a little bit cautious to just write him off because I've watched this game long enough
Yeah.
to know players can suddenly, something clicks in their brain and in their feet in their second season or later
Yeah.
on in their first season,
Yeah, Roger
and they
did
become
make a space by saying, except if
like
something
that. Okay,
switching. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, 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 no.
yeah,
Look at
yeah.
Drogba, Bobby. Bobby Drogba
So
wasn't clinical his first couple of years. I'm not saying he can't be.
exactly.
I'm just saying based on what I've seen thus far. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, go ahead,
absolutely.
Bobby.
And yeah, right now he's Bambi on ice, isn't he? He's not really, you know, he's not really looking the part, but in flashes he shows something that gives us some kind of hope, and that to me is the ingredients of somebody that's going to be very, very good. Now, the difference between him and, shall I say, the season where Lukaku was absolutely atrocious was that you never even really, I mean, the glimpses of brilliance that came from Lukaku were just that, glimpses of brilliance, and maybe it was taken less seriously because of his age, the maturity and his knowledge of the league. But this is a young guy. And, as I've said, we've all seen these young players, how suddenly it just happens for them. Some of them, suddenly it never happens for them. But I just have that feeling that Jackson isn't one of those. When he does finish, it's so classy that there's got to be more to this kid. He's got get used to the league and get used to his teammates, not be the number 9 because he's not a number 9. And I think we'll get the best out of him. With Jackson, I'd rather say the best is yet to come, and we continue holding our heads and absorbing the pain of the worst we're going through with him at the moment.
All right, thank you so much, Bobby. Go ahead. Were you still talking?
No, I'm done. Sorry. Maybe I should say over as I do on my handheld.
Yo,
So
walkie-talkie.
you know when I'm done. Yeah.
Ramadan.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
I like that one. Roger is spitting. The stats don't lie. So this is typical. If you can't beat them, join them. So you're joining. You've joined in. You say showering Roger with so much love. A hat trick against a team with 9 men. And did you see his assault on Rosie after it,
Wow.
which sums up at the moment? Wow. If he has an attitude issue, that's when I'm going to start asking questions of him. But I think he will come good. But Jackson alone, I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm still going to say it again, will not suffice. We need more. Again, he will get better eventually. The coach, teammates
Sorry,
also
Coach,
need to play to Jackson's strengths. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, can I just butt in? I'm so sorry. I've done that too often today.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I don't know. You know, I've been one of the most severe critics of Raheem Sterling, and I do remain a critic of him of sorts. You know, he wasn't particularly great against Newcastle, and he was against Arsenal, Tottenham, and
So
Man
you're not a
City.
convert yet.
However, that free kick that he took makes me think, that's another free kick option for us, because if that's what he's got in his locker and he can reproduce that, that is some tool
Yeah,
to have in
you're
the
going to
team.
hate me, Bobby, but did you see the goalkeeper? He was rooted to the floor.
He was rooted to the spot.
It wasn't in the corner. It was very savable.
But
really, I thought it was top pins.
Roger, give him credit. Don't add that to your spreadsheet.
No. I'm going to give a caveat. He did go over and under the wall. You know, he went over the wall under the bar. And it wasn't it wasn't the best distance because it was too close, in my opinion. So that was a very good shot. I'm not disputing it, but the keeper was flat-footed. I'm sorry.
When was the last time we scored
after the attempt,
a free kick like
the
that?
other attempt, was it against West Ham United that hit the woodwork?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. He did.
I think so far with his record, you can say he's the best we can do.
Yeah, well, that's really sad, isn't it?
Well, when was the last time we took a free kick like that?
The bar is in the minors.
Yeah, the bar is subterranean.
Bearing in mind, those are the only 2 I've seen him take from outside the box. Scoring 1 and hitting the woodwork, in my opinion, that's not bad at all.
No.
And I can't remember the last time.
And given where the bar is, Bobby. Given where the bar is.
Well, yeah, certainly he wasn't aiming for it. That's for sure. I'd like to think. Listen, I can't remember the last time we scored a penalty like that. It may have been Hakim Ziyech in another world, or maybe Reece James. But, I can't remember last time we scored a free kick from a dead ball situation in that manner. I personally thought it was top bins. I thought he took it excellently up and over the wall. And I just want to see if he can reproduce it. I think he's worth another chance if we are in that situation again.
Here's one thing I'm going to say. I think we've talked about this before. The more rehearsed we are, the better Sterling will be playing. Because right now, so much is expected of him. Because, we have a lot of young players that aren't performing.
How did you think he played, gentlemen, against
Newcastle?
How did you think he
performed
against Newcastle, gentlemen?
He was
bad.
Yeah. Because when you needed him to do more defensively, he was a passenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest with you, he
go ahead,
played amazingly well against City.
No, I'm
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
City.
I'm
He
just
turned
agreeing
against
with
City. He,
you.
he was
I
messy.
Yeah, City was Messi. Newcastle, he was who should I say? He was almost as bad as Lukaku.
You can, yeah. I think
And to me,
Lukaku
what does
probably.
that?
Yeah, go ahead.
And gentlemen, what does that tell you? He gets up to for playing his old team. He's got something to show. He should be doing that each and every week. You cannot show
Consistency
up
is
and
all
have,
we've been asking of him.
and he's not. He's far from it. On a couple of occasions this season, he's been absolutely outstanding. Period. He's been
I, I
amazing.
think
But
coach
that's
I think coach raised an important point earlier. Remember football is after all a team sport, and the
yes, it
better the
is.
team performs, the better Raheem performs. Against Newcastle, the team was atrocious, and the midfield was just
But isn't he a
absolutely
senior,
anti-clockwork.
Bobby? Bobby, isn't he a
He
senior that
is.
should
He
actually
is.
be?
He's meant to be the guy to carry the team. And against
Yeah.
City, there were moments he did carry the team. But I don't know. It was a terrible performance. Absolutely. There's no hiding from that fact for sure. Really.
Okay.
But that's it again. Every time Kyle Walker watches that game, he will hate himself because he really mopped the floor with him. I couldn't believe that was Sterling. Sterling that cannot dribble.
Yeah.
But he did it over to Walker over and
Yeah.
over again. That Walker had to like sweep him off the floor to make to
And we're
make
talking
sure
about one of the
he,
best. We're
he
talking
hurt
about
him.
one of the best right backs in the world, in my
In
opinion.
the world, and
Yeah.
one of the fastest,
Yeah.
Roger,
And so what does that
if
tell you?
not the
Yeah. So
fastest.
what does that tell you, gentlemen? If he's able to do that on that occasion, why can he not perform? He doesn't have to show a 10 out of 10, an 8 out of 10. But no, he doesn't. You're seeing 4, 5, and 6 out of 10s on the average. That's my whole point. I'm
Mhm.
not asking for 10 out of 10 each and every week. I'm asking for a 7 or an 8. He's not giving us that. It's between 4 and 6. Let's be honest. That's how bad it is
Yeah.
from a senior player
He
and the
lack of
highest paid
consistency.
player.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is what I have an issue with.
Yeah. And you think I don't know?
No,
No,
it's
I know it's a
frustrating.
serious problem, really. He's the most experienced player there and should be doing more. The highest paid, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And in a
two things.
team that is
He
desperately in need of that
needs
sort
him to
of
lead. Yeah.
leadership player. We not only need a leader in terms of commander on the field, but we need someone who sometimes can take the entire game by the scruff of the neck, like Eden Hazard used to do, later on when he matured a bit more. That sort of player. During Drogba's days, there were several such players, including
Mm.
him. But, if Raheem, with his profile, his age, his wages, if he could do that when the team is down and out and not playing well, if he could do that, he would help the team immensely. But it's sad. When the team's down, he's down. When the team's up, he becomes messy,
So can I ask a
which is not
question
good enough.
based on what we've seen thus far this season? And I know it's only a third of the season, but that's still 33% of a sampling rate. Would you want him back next year?
Yeah, here's where I have confidence, Roger. We need that experience. And it doesn't look like we're gonna go out and be signing experience in
Well, yeah,
that area. And that
well, yeah.
here's the thing. I
He's shown.
strongly believe, yeah, I strongly believe the more rehearsed we become, the better we see of him, honestly. Because at
Yes.
City, he wasn't that flawed at City. He was performing whenever he gets a chance to play, he performs and was scoring back and forth for them. Yes, and I know one thing. The only thing you like the most about them is the intelligent runs he makes.
Yeah,
You
very good
every time
runs.
I know Roger will criticize starting all day, but we'll still come back to the fact that he makes very good runs and behind our opponent's lines. And honestly, the more rehearsed we are, the better we still see of him. And pay attention to what we've talked about already during this particular show. games we play well, he seemed to be outstanding. Games we play poorly, you don't expect him to be the one to lead the charge and like ginger the team. You say lead by example. That's one thing he hasn't done. I think, I think I'd still keep him, in my opinion, because the owners are not going to go out and sign another experienced player. It will be another 21, 20, and that's a problem on its own, in my opinion. The
I,
coach
I
team,
have to
yeah, go
agree.
ahead.
I was saying I have to agree. As much as Sterling makes me want to run on the pitch and box his ears, because he's such a frustrating player. He's also, in terms of a team context, he can be very valuable. Sterling is the kind of player that can win you a game. Do you remember when we had a guy called Jasper Gronkier? Now, I think Sterling
No.
is an upgrade to young Gronkier, but Gronkier, somebody that was just, he was incredibly fast, but he would frustrate the hell out of you. He would dribble the whole team, then turn around and dribble himself. He's that sort of player. But Gronkier would
It reminds me of
always
this
get you.
Newcastle player. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Gronkia would always come up with a goal that nobody else could get. Not least to mention the winning goal against Liverpool into the Champions League back in 2002, 2003, just before Roman bought the club. In fact, it was a reason or one of the greatest factors to Roman buying the club. So that sort of player is Raheem Sterling, a better quality version, but he is that sort of player. Raheem in a good team could be a very lethal weapon, and that's the main reason for him.
Yeah.
Well,
Good
then
luck convincing Roger.
no, it's because of his lack of consistency. That's
I know, Roger. I
I
know
have a
very well.
serious issue with it.
I
You
know.
can't depend on him.
Yeah. And you can say his dribble success rate, but on Man City, and that game against Man City was is still below 50%. Um, yeah,
He was 3 out of 9.
I think something similar to what you're saying there, Constantin. I've always said just let Jackson be Jackson and sign another striker. Jackson will solve his papers, and the other striker will sign his own papers. And GFC Gavin is in the house, and straight away he shared the link to his YouTube channel. Go check it out. Let's help him grow. He's a nice guy, part of the community, but he loves Chelsea and understands football quite well. All of you in the chat, from Eugene, Constantin, Dante, Andy Nguyen, go check out his YouTube channel and please subscribe. Bobby, stop interrupting when Coach reads out my comments. Oh my goodness. You need tissue? Let's see.
Sorry.
Thiago Silva needs Thiago Silva needs to be dropped. Thiago Silva to be to drop. Just some point. I prefer to play Axel Disasi and Levi Cowell. We have they're all good players. Funny enough, Roger and Bobby are both right about Sterling. Clearly, the goalkeeper thought to himself, lads, it's only Raheem Sterling. and then he got punished for it. That's why you take every player seriously. I think
That's a
Nkunku will
very
be
interesting
for free
theory.
kicks. We'll find out. He has to prove himself first. Sorry, Bobby, were you saying something?
No, I
Okay.
just said, interrupting again, that's a very interesting theory and probably not too far from the truth.
Possibly, yeah. But probably there's a chance the goalkeeper, given what Roger explained, underrated Sterling and didn't think he was gonna get it on target, let alone scoring from it. Sterling cannot be seen behind the wall, which helps. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Ouch.
Okay. But that may well be the truth. I don't know. But the way he took it, that technique with power in the deep, yep. Not many keepers, if any, are saving that. I think that same game, was against against Man City, James took a very good one, but Ederson was, stopped it. Big up to you too, Vic. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Uh, this comment here, your panel members are just plain wicked. Because of the way you guys, I'm not included, talked about Raheem Sterling. This is why Messi and Ronaldo are best at consistency more than 10 years. They performed consistently for 10 years, for more than 10 years, you're saying. Sterling is a mood player. I never thought about that, and that may well be the case. Another player you want in a young developing team, that's a delicious comment there. Because if you're gonna play with a young team, and if you're one of the oldest, the most experienced, you have to lead by example. Yep, because the younger ones will be looking up to you. I get it. Some people might argue otherwise, but I think it's a legit argument in my opinion. We know tradition. Once Mauricio Pochettino leaves, all players will put their selves together. So Akande Eric, you're suggesting we should fire him. I don't see that happening. I think he's here long term. I will sell Sterling to Saudi Arabia, and I will buy a Kingsley Coleman if it is possible. Yeah, that last part, if it is possible. And here's the thing, Sterling may well want to go to Saudi Arabia if they're going to offer him something twice as much. And you can say more, 50% more of what he's earning right now. I think he'd take it. He's not getting any younger. Definitely don't keep Sterling, but I think we're stuck with him. Yeah, given his salary and his age. So probably the only club that we can say a Saudi club, the only saving grace will be a Saudi club coming in for him. But most important thing is a focus to Sir Gallagher. Yeah, good job, good luck there because. I don't know. I'm tired of arguing whether Gallagher stays or not. Difference is Raheem Sterling was micromanaged at City. Poch wouldn't do that with him, but that's what's needed. Brendan Rodgers had a raw Sterling at Liverpool who just wanted to be the man to dribble. Yeah, he was erratic at the time, but still produced good results. Spot on the Blues. He also knows. He always plays as well. Yeah, the manager will always start him over Mudryk, in my opinion. It has to take him being in you can say in some poor form before the manager decides to drop him and start Mudryk. Inconsistent Sterling is keeping Mudryk and Nani out. A question needs to be asked, which shows you that the manager prefers him over the two players you mentioned. Spot on. Okay, let's see what has the manager said here. We've talked about the top four coming there. And this one here is saying Mauricio Pochettino on the process and the owner's vision. That is the reality. That is the process. I think the owners, support this. And you do too, because I'm quite sure they educated you on what they want to do and you agree to it. Mauricio Pochettino on the Newcastle defeat to clarify the things and realize what happened. It was a tough week for everyone. I am very happy because they reacted very well when in in training, or maybe the fact that they weren't happy that they lost that game. I was tough with them inside and outside, but it's to blame ourselves also because of our approach. Wow, that's him being truthful there. Our approach was maybe wrong. It was a good week to realize things we need to improve on. It makes sense. The good thing is that you're learning. I don't know anybody else has anything else to add to that one, or should I move on?
No, it's fine.
Move on, Roger. Should I move on?
Yes, please.
Okay. The next comment is Mauricio Pochettino on being angry. They know very well my mood. I'm not here acting. I am not going to show a face. I don't feel when I am happy, I am happy, and when I'm not, I'm not happy. And with the players, it's the same. It's not the players on the side, and it's just that wow, that's a lot. It's not the players on the side and the staff on the other side. We need to work together. We need to put the context on the situation. It's important for the players to feel the coaches in a natural way. When we are angry and when we are happy, we were tough in our analysis, but tough It's about telling the truth. Yes, to show the things we didn't do, of course, but not to blame them. It's about to blame everyone. Yep, the us mentality is good. No need finger pointing us, scapegoating anybody. Ourselves first, because maybe our approach wasn't right. I like that aspect. Throwing players under the bus can be dangerous. At least Nkunku is around, but I don't think Nemanja. I don't think he plays on Sunday. Even if he does, it will be just a few minutes. Even that, I don't see that happening. They are doing a fantastic job, and of course, they are very good team, a very good coaching staff. I know Roberto De Zerbi very well. Okay, just about De Zerbi, Mauricio Pochettino, on Moses Casado, and Robert Sanchez, and how they've settled in. I think it's a process also. The intention is to analyze and compare a player from one season to other, and it's not fair. I think Robert, in the last few months at Brighton, he didn't play. Yeah, that point, no need expanding that. On Moses Casado, pressure because of big fee. It's easy to blame the money and different aspect because he is a human being. When something is covered in expectation, it's easy to find something to blame. I don't think the money has affected him that much. It's just a case of him, the fact that he didn't have preseason with us and needed time to adapt. And believe me, I think he's done well. Yeah, let me read this one in its entirety. Mauricio Pochettino on Rhys James. Of course, it's a part of the process. Too many times he was injured, but he was a bit tired when he got the second yellow card. Of course, he realizes it's a far away from his best condition. He feels sorry about the situation. It was tough for him and for the team. Yeah, that was. I don't know if reckless would be the correct word, but he should know better. He was on the yellow already. That's it. Christopher Nkunku trains with the squad, but yeah, that's just the usual exercise. I haven't seen anything that makes me go, wow, you know what? It looks like he's going to start, in my opinion. But that's just me. Roger, anything else you want to talk about?
What for the whole show? Listen, I'm
Yeah, anything else? Or if you have any other topic you want us to talk about that we haven't addressed, so we have a few minutes to round off, so we can talk about it and call it a day.
yeah, I just want us to start playing more consistently. We need to start, especially defensively, playing more solidly
Hmm.
because we're playing very poorly. I mean, I, I can't I can't emphasize enough how poorly we are defensively. It's unacceptable. And if you're telling me if we miss Caicedo for one game, we're going to be that open also, that's not good enough. I think you can realistically give a very poor grade for every outfield player that we saw in our last game.
Hmm.
That cannot be tolerated. They need to up their game, regardless of whether they came back from an international. So do other teams that have many players coming from South America, etc. No, it's a mindset, and that needs to change, and that comes from the top, meaning the
Yeah.
coaching staff. So, as much as I praise and really like Pochettino and think he is the right person for the job, the fact that he actually wasn't even allowed to be, by the pitch side, that tells me that there seems to be a discipline issue, and that needs to change also. There's a lot of things that need to change and to improve, and we're far from it. That's my observation for one third of the season. I'm very disappointed with the season, as you can tell. I think it's. I would give the grade all around. I would give it between a D and an F. It's been that poor, and I think our position doesn't lie. We've been playing mid-table. Yes, we played some very good matches. We've been unlucky, but you can say conversely, we've also stunk the place up on occasion, and that can't be allowed, in my opinion. If you want to be a team to play in Europe next year.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bobby. Anything else you want to add so I can catch up with what you have in the chat, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, just to reiterate that we are just a group at the moment of unrehearsed, integrated players that are not used to the league in which they're in. It's going to take us time. Time really is, for the first time, I'm talking time. That was why after we were spanked by Newcastle, I didn't like it, but I found myself in a very rare position of actually accepting it, and I don't accept defeats because I was like, okay, this is the reminder of this is where we are. And I thought of several teams in the past that were nowhere near as good as this as far as potential is concerned, but were part of a young rebuild, and at least they were used to the league and everything. These guys aren't. So I've put myself in a position of drawing breath and waiting to see. One thing I'm losing patience with is our finishing has got to be better. That is not acceptable that much. And I spent a lot of time battling for Conor Gallagher. You know, I really stuck my neck out for him. And what he did against Newcastle, honestly, this is the reason why anybody that walks into that midfield and ups a performance to him will kick him out of the side. I was very disappointed in him in that game. He's the one player that I can, well, this really, really hurt me because I hoped for more from you. So let's hope he redeems himself against Brighton.
Yeah, because definitely he's going to start. Thank you so much, Bobby. Coach, it's over 2 hours. Yep, I think we'll be running off in a bit. I got to help my boys go get ready for school too. And we'll still do the match prediction show later in the day. Is Connie available? We don't know. His status is doubtful. So there's no way to tell whether he play a part in that game. Tayo A, nice to see you. Deservi is a better coach than Poch. Okay, if that's what you think, we'll find out. He's beaten him on 2 occasions. The last 2 meetings he's beaten them. The third one is the next one. Let's see who beats. So far, given the records between the two of them, Pochettino is a better manager in my opinion. But Tyler, nice to see you. Lateness is greatness. Because we're about to round up the show. Brighton will play a counter-attack. Silva should not play this game either, in my opinion. But I think he plays. I think if he doesn't play, we'll be worse off, in my opinion. Yeah, but let's see what happens. Yeah, they're good again. They counter at a blistering speed, in my opinion. And Jody, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join. A Newcastle fan there. It's probably to come say hello to us because they beat us. But you're welcome. Enjoy yourself and be sure to check out our other channel, Soccer Perspective. There, you can come onto the panel and talk about Newcastle United. Instead of Poch doing a double sessions, I would advise him to put the players in a classroom and force them to watch the whole of the 2012 UEFA Champions League campaign. And if they still don't respond, then sell the lot. I don't think we'll be selling a lot of players anytime soon. But that's by the way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Thank you. I think it's been a good show. The views are low, but we've not been streaming consistently for a while, and that changes now. But the blue to game, nice to see you. Much love to you, Jodies. Thank you for joining, a Newcastle fan, and Constantine Dante. Much love to you, Tayo A. And the Maya Fawale and Chimera also was in the house. Did I even say hello to you? Chimera, much love to you, brother. If I didn't, apologies. I'm only a human being. Eugene and Akande and Bobby and Roger, who are both of which are on the panel, and now add your information to the description section. But much love. With that, we've come to the end of the show. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Cheers, gentlemen.